In this video, we're going to look at what the greenhouse gases are. We're going to explain what the greenhouse effect is. And then we're going to explain how human activity has changed and how that has caused global warming to happen. You need to know what the three greenhouse gases are. There is carbon dioxide, which you've probably heard on the news before. Water vapour is also a greenhouse gas. And methane. So you need to remember that these are the three greenhouse gases, and these cause the greenhouse effect. Okay, so looking at this diagram, we've got the sun in the top corner, and we've got the Earth. This red line here represents the Earth's atmosphere, and inside the atmosphere, I've shown an example of a greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide. But there are greenhouse gases present throughout the entire of the atmosphere. We're just going to look at one small section as an example. So in the first stage of the greenhouse effect, the sun emits shortwave radiation which passes through the atmosphere and is absorbed by the Earth's surface. This shortwave radiation is then re-emitted by the Earth as long-wave radiation, which is then absorbed by the greenhouse gases. The greenhouse gases then re-emit this long-wave radiation, and they re-emit it in every direction. So this means some of that long-wave radiation will go out to space, but some of the long-wave radiation will go back down towards the Earth. And this is what causes the temperature of the Earth to increase. Now, the greenhouse effect is why there is life on Earth. If the greenhouse effect didn't happen, Earth would be too cold to sustain life. So by itself, the greenhouse effect is a good thing. However, global warming is where we've put too much of this greenhouse gas, too many carbon dioxides, into the atmosphere, which means this process is happening too much. Therefore, the temperature is increasing more than it should do, and that's a problem. If you do geography, you might have heard this called the enhanced greenhouse effect. We're now just going to recap this process, but we'll look at it in words. So the first step is the sun emits shortwave radiation, which passes through the Earth's atmosphere. This is then absorbed by the Earth's surface and re-emitted as long-wave radiation. This long-wave radiation is then absorbed by the greenhouse gases, and they then re-emit the long-wave radiation again, but this time they are re-emitted in every direction. So some will go out into space, some will head back down towards the Earth. And this causes the temperature of the Earth to increase. Again, remembering that we need this effect to happen to some extent, otherwise the Earth will be too cold. So the greenhouse effect is this process we've just described. Global warming is where there's too much carbon dioxide, so this effect happens too much effectively. We're now going to look at how human activity has caused this process of global warming. Over the past 150 years, the human population has massively increased. It's gone from about 1.5 billion in 1850 to just under 8 billion today, so there's an awful lot more people now. Since there's a lot more people, we're now burning a lot of fossil fuels, and we do this to make all different kinds of energy, to make cars work, so we use fossil fuels throughout everyday life. And since we're burning more fossil fuels, we're producing more carbon dioxide, which we know is a greenhouse gas. If there are more people, we need more space to live, which means we need to clear forests so there's more space for people to live. We need more space so we can farm to feed everybody. So cutting down and burning the forests, that will release more CO2. Now, more people means we need to have more food. So just taking the example of cows, for example of meat, and looking at the production of rice, both of these produce a lot of methane during their production, Remember, methane is another example of a greenhouse gas. Finally, more people means we produce more waste. This often goes to landfill, which when it decomposes releases more carbon dioxide. So overall, we can see that as the population has increased, we're releasing a lot more of these greenhouse gases. This means we've got more of the greenhouse effect happening because we've got more of those greenhouse gases in the atmosphere re-emitting that long wave radiation back down to Earth. Therefore, the temperature of the Earth increases.